affected by the tree disease dieback. Okay. Well, I was looking for a place to stop for a whittle. I won't have a whittle here, but I thought we'd have a wander in here to see what we've got. Oh, that's a non-native conifers. These are large. So it's likely at some stage this has been former hazel coppice, which has been plantationised, putting the larch in, and most of the larch has done fairly poorly. This is a fairly common story, and we have a remnant now. So it looks like the Woodland Trust. I'm going to cut those out. We've done some work beside the ride here. Kind of nice. This has been surfaced at some point. And we've done some coppicing here. And the hazels come back relatively well. But Bambi's in here. This is in Somerset. That's been well eaten off. And they've eaten that tree over there, which is a sycamore. That is great sedge, which in context is an ancient woodland indicator. Bambi's eaten that. That's got away. And this is, if this is a hazel cant, don't know whether it is. Don't know whether the Woodland Trust actually do that sort of thing. Then this has got a fairly good chance if they keep Bambi's off. Because if you look at the sky, then there's about 30% canopy cover. But these ones under here, they can directly see the sky. A lot of side shading from over there. It's overcast today, but south is more or less that way. So yeah, lots of bramble growth. And got a lot of dogwood. Dogwood native, not necessarily a bad thing at all. None of this is criticism at the moment, it's sort of ho-hum wandering. This hazel has been cut a little while previously. Come back very nicely. There's some dogwood right by the ride here. And some more there. Some more behind. So what I'm going to do now is wander in here and see what we've got. And see if we can find a way in where we don't get prickled to death. But we've just got a nice stage where the leaves have come off the canopy trees, including the larch. There's a Norway spruce there, look. That won't lose its leaves at all, of course. And you can see the sub-canopy of the hazel. All these sallows, round-leaved willows, have gone up higher, so they would be counted as a canopy tree if you're thinking about managing this as coppice. And the hazel underneath. You see, there's a lot of hazel here. There's a big road up there, which is what I was driving along, and you can look into the woods from the big road and see that a lot of this is hazel. So I was going to have a wander up towards the road and see what we can find. Right, we're going to walk in there, then walk along. If I don't talk to you again, well, that's a little video of this little woodland. Wrong time of year to see ground flora, really. So it might be quite nice. Let's see what we can find. I think that's a wren shouting at me. Tiny little bird that doesn't make a big noise. But what we've got here, we've got a big low bank and a big deep ditch. Bank is about 30 centimetres high and about 4 metres wide. And a lot of hazel along this edge here, along the edge of the ditch. The canopy trees inside the woodland, shaded hazel out on the inside of the boundary. field maple here. Trust me, it is a field maple. That's been coppiced. And ash. And we've got sallows, hazel stool. Not sure what that conifer is. Not very good on conifers. I'm a woodland manager, I'm not a forester. And that's a spruce. Sorry, larch. Told you it wasn't good at conifers. That one might be a Norway spruce. And these obviously along the edge of the wood have a look at being planted. A lot of hazel all the way through. So as I said before, it looks like it's plantationalised form of hazel coppice. This is probably stinking iris. Iris fetidissima, which in context is an ancient woodland indicator. Basically, in context means that if you've got one woodland indicator species, you haven't necessarily got an ancient woodland. But if you've got a nice list of them, then it may be that you have. And I think these field roses go through here, and here we have, where did I see it? Stuff here. This is the native privet, which you quite often get on chalk. I don't know whether they're on chalk here. And seedlings which have all been bambitude. Failed. So do you get the idea? So if you were to restore this, or to work on this woodland, you could argue it doesn't need restoring because it is an extant woodland. But if you wanted to put some work into this to maximise its value for nature conservation, what would you do? Well, that's basically something to think about. Probably in the past it has received grant aid for planting in the conifers. And you can see the conifers all the way through here. We are standing underneath one behind us. And over here, these are larch. Larch is good timber, naturally durable, nice and straight, not horrendously big, and it's kind of good that it has been chosen as the conifer crop, the cash crop, on a site like this, in that it loses its leaves every winter. It's a deciduous conifer, and it's still a softwood, not a hardwood, even though it's deciduous. Which means that other species can get away. Former land use, or former woodland management, can persist, especially where it's coppice, where a coppice has been plantationised. You've also got a lot of ash in here, which, as the sign said on the entrance, is affected by ash dieback. So this tree here, for instance, hopefully you can see, this is badly affected by ash dieback. It's got all sort of leggy, and the canopy's got thin. It's lost most of the top, and it's starting to put out a few shoots from nearer the main stem and on the short first lengths of the branches in an attempt to try and keep itself alive. So a lot of these ashes in here, I think, are showing signs. So it'd be tempting to say that to maximise nature conservation value, you would actually come in here and you'd take parts of the wood, not the whole wood, but parts of the wood. There's primrose down there, look. And you'd take cants fairly close to the main ride that we just saw, and you'd fell them. you take out the whole lot in areas of say an acre at a time, and you scatter those up that ride that we saw. Another primrose, and there's a big stem there which looks like it's been an oak. So at one point there have been some big oak trees in here, but it looks like they might have been felled out, because that's about the third or fourth of those that I've seen. So it may well have been hazel coppice under oak standards with some ash, and then it's been plantationised. It'd be interesting to go back and look at what records the Woodland Trust have and see if they think that as well. But anyway, what was I saying? Yes, so you go and you take areas of about an acre, scattered up that ride, so that if this stick is your ride, going through the middle of the site, then you've got an area coppice here, an area coppice over there, another one over there, and areas of non-intervention woodland in between. So you get say 7 counts zigzagged all the way up, with areas of non-intervention woodland in between. So you get a mosaic of different ages and different stages in the cycle through, because this will eventually turn back into oak dominated high forest, but it'll take a couple of centuries. So all the way up either side of your ride, you've got these coppice counts which you cut every 7 years. Every time you cut them for hazel, without planting in, without necessarily layering, although layering I think is quite a good idea, you will promote the hazel inevitably, because hazel responds very well to being coppiced. So if you promote the hazel, if you cut it, you promote the hazel. You cut coppice to get coppice, as some of the old boys used to say. So then you've got these mosaic of different ages, and by cutting every 7 years you keep that section of that selection of different ages going. And then on your ride, you manage the ride. At the moment it looks a bit like a corridor with sort of steep sides with old wood on either side. You manage your ride inside the cants and in conjunction with the cants, so that it's fairly early stage succession, and you will get a lot of woodland plants, woodland flora either side of the ride all the way up in conjunction with the coppice cants, and you get high forest. And the high forest can also have quite a lot of dead wood in it. We've got dead wood here. A lot of these poor ashes are turning themselves into dead wood. So you can have the whole gamut of ages, with the exception of big oak trees. If they've all been felled out, they've already gone. It'll take another couple of centuries to reappear. And you can also think about running your coppice, your hazel coppice, as coppice with standards. There's another huge stump here. It's been cut right down to the ground. Do you see that around there? So that might well have been felled before that one over there. You see it? Keep getting sidetracked. So you manage your woodland for the maximum habitat diversity, and from the maximum habitat diversity you get, the maximum species diversity you will get as well. Here we have other trees that have been felled, and this is an ash coppice stall, which is pretty big. Been cut several times, although this bit on the side and this isn't ash. Those two are ash. These are hazel. So I hope that made sense. I won't know if I made sense until I actually go and review it. So what I'm going to do now is go back home, because I've got some work to do, and we'll have another stop and we'll have a look at that main ride.